Recently, my social media has been flooded with edits of Black Flag men in BLs, complete with Black Flag BL family trees, where innocent characters are somehow positioned as grandfathers, uncles, and princes. So I thought it was my time to make my own version of the Black Flag BL list, but with characters that actually belong on it. I'm talking about men who have little to no redeeming qualities, but we still love them because let's be honest, we as Fujoshis and Fudanshis love experiencing the black flags on our screens rather than in our real lives. We'd rather live vicariously through the characters on screen without ever having to experience the trauma of falling for these men ourselves. So, without further ado, let's see which black flag men actually deserve a spot on this list. Ryoji from The Dangerous Drugs of Sex is the founder and chairman of the BL Black Flag community. Here we have a guy who is so sick and twisted that he thinks the only way a person can see the beauty of life instead of being suicidal is by forcing him on the most violent, intense BDSM sescapade journey. So that instead of focusing on wanting to die, he can think about wanting to escape the torture. And what's more diabolical is the fact that Makoro, who is his victim, gets so converted in this whole BDSM process that not only does he not think about suicide anymore, he also suddenly turns gay as hell and can't help but want Ryoji to satisfy his cravings. Yes, we do see in the course of this movie that they were both troubled and traumatized individuals who find each other, but the way they find each other definitely needs jail time for Ryoji. Hua Young is our company vice chairman because talk about targeting a man 15 years ago and spending every second of your life thereafter carefully planning how to make him your personal omega. He first studies Xiaoyu's exes to mimic their behavior and act as the perfect damsel in distress, weaponizing the hero complex of the object of his desire against him while personally holding all the cards. Enigmas are at the top of the food chain and able to dominate even the strongest of alphas. So Huayong uses his pheromones to biologically alter Shayu's pheromones so that he goes into heat based on Huayong's wish and desire. This way he is able to turn an S-class alpha into an omega who is even able to get pregnant by his enigma, who is of course our Huayong. Not only does he slowly alter Shayu's pheromones, but he also slowly but surely makes Shayu emotionally dependent on him by creating fake scenarios, and hence why Huayong totally deserves this position. Huayan from Meet You at the Blossom could be considered the CEO of Black Flags. Huayan was set out to ruin Xiaobao's family as instructed by his father, but he had no idea that promiscuous Xiaobao would put the moves on him, thinking he was an extremely strong woman. What's more, even after knowing Huayan is a man, Xiaobao's feelings remain unwavered. Huayan convinced himself that he feels disgusted by Xiaobao and hates him so much that he'll make sure the first person he ruins in the Jin family will be none other than Xiaobao himself. But little did he know that he will slowly come to care for Xiaobao. And since Huayan is someone who is brought up solely for the purpose of revenge, his way of showing love is not only aggressive but violent too. The only way he knows how to express his longing for Xiaobao is to physically violate him, choke him, smack him, and take him by force. Even though he had fallen for Xiaobao, he still ruins his family and gives him and his loved ones a lifetime of pain. Yes, he has an okayish redemption arc, but he is no doubt a black flag. Fan Shao is definitely Huayan's son who will take over the company after his passing. He is rich, he is bored, and he treats people like toys. Fan Shao is definitely a sadist, but not your typical sadist who enjoys physically harming people. He is an emotional sadist. He loved ruining Shulang's life and relationships just to see if he could. He hated seeing Shulang being so righteous, kind, and helpful to others. He wanted that kindness and generosity only for himself. He dragged Shulang through the mud just to prove a point, to make Shulang show his inner demon. But he was in for a rude awakening because he soon realized that Shulang didn't have a devious side like himself. He tried to play with Shulang but got played instead. Only when he was in the depths of shame and guilt did he finally let Shulang go free. Vegas is definitely the vice president of this company. Someone who is Fanshaw's close confidant and who helps him run the Black Flag business. Vegas grew up with his father's abuse, constantly being compared to his cousin who is better than him in every aspect of life, be it business, charm, or relationships. So, all Vegas can do to take his little revenge on his older cousin is to steal the man he sleeps with. Not only does he sleep with them, but he also physically violates them and emotionally manipulates them. This is Vegas's way of feeling in control, feeling like he belongs somewhere that is completely under his grip. If Vegas wasn't beating the shit out of his lovers and playing mind games with him, he would feel like something is missing. I think we fail to understand that Vegas was actually more obsessed with Kin than anyone else. He wanted to be like Kin, he wanted his position, and he wanted the respect he got. So ultimately, the only thing he could do was steal the ones Kin fell for. Ming would definitely be a senior supervisor in this company because not only does he have rich boy syndrome, he also has back collecting syndrome. He's obsessed with his brother-in-law's back and he even pushed Joe to his demise because of this extreme fetish. He treats humans like dolls because in his mind, if he can't have the Barbie, he'll make do with the charity shop version. But what he doesn't realize is that slowly he forgets about the Barbie and becomes insanely obsessed with the charity shop doll. So much so that he doesn't want to let it out of his trunk. He wants to keep it in his dollhouse forever, which leads the doll to go into hiding until eventually someone flushes it down the toilet. 3 years later, he finds another doll who looks very similar to this charity shop doll that got flushed, and he acquires it immediately. And as it turns out, the doll itself couldn't help but want to come back to its owner Ming too. Gohei is definitely the supervisor of this Black Flag company because what do you mean you kidnap the guy you like just to confess to him? What do you mean you leave your mansion, pretend to be poor and move right next door to your crush just so you can go to school with him every day? What do you mean you break up with your girlfriend of 3 years, don't shed a single tear but then pretend to be sad just so your crush will console you? Now this wasn't included in the series but in the novel, when Balo Yin's ex-girlfriend came back from the States and tried to win him back, Guho actually rapes Balo Yin right in front of her just to prove he belongs to him. That woman was scarred for life and Balo Yin ended up in the hospital for days. Am I glad the series got cancelled before we had to see that? Probably yes, but let's be honest, the dark intensity of that relationship would have been very exciting to watch. Lovelies, let me be completely honest with you. Duanzang would never claim any of these other black flags as his brothers or children because these men are dirt and garbage compared to him. These men do not deserve to be on the same level as Duanzang, so I'm sorry to tell you that even though he is a black flag, he is the most noble and pure out of all of them. All he ever did was love the man he met in his childhood. It was the circumstances around him that turned him into a mad king obsessed with acquiring his man and his kingdom. If Duanzang didn't kill the southern prince, the prince would have killed his lover, and it's not Duanzang's fault that the southern prince happened to be his lover's brother. All he ever wanted was to bring his lover safely to the north, where he could spend the rest of his days without worrying about a kingdom he never wanted in the first place. It's just too bad that his lover was more loyal to his roots and his blood than to him. So there you have it, the board of directors for the BL Black Flag Corporation. We know these men belong in therapy or in prison rather than in a relationship, but let's be real, we aren't here for healthy communication skills and stable domestic lives. We are here for the toxicity, the obsession, and the absolute chaos. I was tired of people including some innocent men in this list, so I decided to make my own. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and I'll see you soon. Bye.